Welcome again to the Alternative Comedy Cabinet, the only comedy night that abruptly...
I wanted to create a comedy night in Sheffield because for the size and location Sheffield has, there really isn't much of a comedy community or comedy scene per se. And so there was definitely sort of a gap in that market to put on a night. But the reason I called it an alternative comedy night is because I didn't want it to be a lot of overconfident young men talking about gender, geography and income over and over again to the guffawing of the mob. I want it to be just a bit more interesting, a bit more experimental, and showcase the kind of comedy I like.
Evening! Hello, comedy lovers! My name's Johnny, Mr. Johnny, Waddy Sorrow!
I choose to convey to the world that I don't like clothes shopping by dressing like a plot device in an ITV comedy drama.
If through nerves and anxiety, entirely natural, you feel the odd giggle bubbling up, let it up, let it out, and we'll move on.
Get out of my car! Get out of my car! Take the child lock off! Who are you? Get out of my car! Get out of my car! You just hold on! Right, it's got breathe.
Yeah! Whimsy and energy!
I chose Harrison's because it's old and purple, just like my dear old Nan.
As you'll notice, it is a venue.
And I chose the Riverside because it's owned by a performing arts charity.
It is thus named because it was owned by Colonel Geoffrey Riverside.
It's alternative comedy, right? A normal comedy night, if no one likes the acts, it's the promoter's fault or the act's fault. It's an alternative comedy night, it doesn't work like that, it's your fault. Because I see loads of comedy and I know what's good.
3, morphine into a vacuum cleaner. 2, morphine into a vacuum cleaner. 1.
That's what really happened.
You're gonna die, you're all gonna fucking die!
It's all nonsense, whatever. Yeah? Say anything. Not going to.
It's really refreshing to come to a comedy night that doesn't rely on gender or racial stereotypes. It's really inclusive, which is really cool.
I really enjoyed seeing them try out new stuff, because obviously stuff that's in development, so it's clever, you know, it's interesting watching what they're doing.
Do I like my audience? Who in particular?
You're watching it and you're like, oh, that's awful, that's terrible, that's, oh, and then you go in the kitchen and you eat a bag of crisps. Well, I'd be about bag of crisps level of upset about your demise. That's what I'm saying. So now We've built rapport.
Anyone else originally from Sheffield? Right, yeah, like one person nodded and everyone else just kind of just looked at me like I'm dead.
Just human beings like you and me. What was the question?
I think I'm going to win the Perrier.
Do I feel that by accepting Dannoff's sponsorship, I'm sort of in some way selling out on behalf of perhaps what is definitely the most artistic form of comedy in the world?
So, first with this recipe, you need to take some Dannoff Vodka. Start with some Dannoff Vodka. So we'll start off with some Dannoff Vodka.
It was a tough time, so I drank a lot of vodka. A lot of Dannoff. Took the pain away. Not in a particularly healthy way, because drinking's not really an answer to that.
Yes.
Edit that out, darling, it'll be fine. I wasn't saying darling in a sexist way, I was trying to portray myself as a 40s lovey. I'd like to point that out.
Oh, by the way, none of my material presentation, I should say, is copyrighted, trademarked. It's all open source. Please do share it with your friends and family. Don't wake them up, but do try and catch them before breakfast.
Anyway, I'm going to stand up in this voice now. It doesn't matter what voice I do it in. Just go with it.
Some of the things this author with Hitler saying outlandish to the.
Sorry, have you not heard of Hitler?
Oh no, yes, another author I've not heard.
Everyone has heard of Hitler.
I've just never heard of Hitler.
Joseph, you're the Minister of Propaganda.
If there's any message I'd like people to come away with, is that comedy is art, but only at my night.
It doesn't even matter. You know, seriously, like let's just like I'm not bitter. But all comedy is absolute nonsense. That's all all of it. Like even the stuff that seems like it cares. So why not do this?
It was a joke, and then.
Love me that Dannoff lovin'.